About 18 months ago, I was asking myself the question every day, what is my purpose? I felt depressed, I felt isolated, I felt lonely, and I felt like I had no direction in my life. And I was constantly asking myself the question, what is my purpose? Where do I find it? I have all these skills, I have all this talent, I work hard, I've got all this energy. What is my purpose? Where do I find that? Now, this went on for a while and nothing changed for me until I realized that I was thinking about it completely the wrong way round. If you're searching for a purpose, it will continue to elude you. If you start acting purposefully, you will start to live with purpose. This took me a long time to get my head around. So what I wanted to do is break down a few of the lessons that I learned that really kind of helped me start acting with purpose and feel much more fulfilled and like I have a lot of purpose in my life now. So I hope you enjoy the video. Let's get to it. Why you will never find your purpose. Stop searching, start acting. So I didn't want this to be a video that was all sort of woo-woo nonsense. You need to live in alignment with your purpose. Because it's true, but it is often presented in a way that isn't actionable and it kind of gets sort of lumped in with a load of hippie shit that doesn't really do anything. But living with purpose is important, and particularly for a man and woman, but particularly for men, if you don't have purpose in your life, you feel lost, you're depressed. So purpose is really, really important, and knowing how to live a life full of purpose is something I believe we should all be doing. So I wanted to break down a few things for you, and I wanted to start off by reading something. So what is purpose? Everyone has a unique mission or purpose in life, which is not necessarily a specific job or career, but rather a way of living that is in alignment with one's deepest values, passions, and talents. Living in alignment with one's mission requires a willingness to take risks, to face one's fears and limitations, and to be open to the unknown. By doing so, we can tap into our full potential and live a life full of purpose and meaning. So, how purpose eluded me for years. So this is me. I actually look quite sharp, but I wasn't very happy. So this was me as a teacher in secondary school. I'm not actually pointing at anything specific there. We were doing a bit of an experiment where I think we were using green screens or something. So I was pretending to point at something in case you thought I'd gone completely mad. Well, I had gone completely mad. I really, really didn't like my job. I loved working with young people. I got a lot of energy from that, but I knew that I was called to do more. But I hung around for ages waiting for something to happen. And guess what? Nothing happened. Nothing happened until I actually decided to take action. So what I wanted to say here was that purpose will continue to elude you before you start to live purposefully. One of the biggest mistakes that people make is that they think you're going to stumble upon, and this is what I used to think when I was in this position, you're just going to stumble upon your purpose. One day something will happen and you'll just slot into it, and that's my purpose. This is incorrect, and I want to go a little bit deeper into this. Now, I call this the purpose onion. So, like I said, we often think our purpose is something far off in the distance, something that is away from us. Your purpose is right in front of you. My purpose right now is to make the best fucking video that I can. That's my purpose right now. Whatever is in front of you, that is your purpose. So I like to think of this like an onion. You're on a certain layer. Whatever layer you're on at the moment, that is your purpose. That is the thing that you should be doing. The person in front of you, that's your purpose right now. Whatever you're doing at your job right now, that's your purpose right now. Now, there's a few things we need to consider. So it's all good to say, right, well, okay, it's here now, is it? What does that mean? Focus on what's in front of you right now. Figure out how you can give your most valuable gifts. Is that your attention? Is that the way you're speaking? Is that an artistic gift? Is it an analytical gift? Whatever the situation is in front of you right now, purposefully give your gifts. And we all have gifts. We all have God-given gifts. Your job is to give those gifts right now at this layer of the onion, okay? Once we give those gifts at this layer of the onion, that's when we unlock the next layer. Now, if we wander around this layer unpurposefully, without direction, we won't get to that next layer. To get to that next layer, you have to act purposefully. So as we said at the beginning, your purpose is living in alignment with one's mission. So it's living in alignment with your mission, willingness to take risks and face the fears and limitations, but also a way of living that is in alignment with one's deepest values, passions, and talents. So that's what I mean, where you won't unlock that next layer until you start living like this. So when I was a teacher, when I was in secondary school education, I was waiting for something to happen. I wasn't living with purpose. I wasn't choosing the direction of my own life. I was being blown along with wherever the wind took me. I was in and out of relationships that I wasn't really that asked about, but I was in and out of them anyway. I was just letting life happen to me. As soon as I decided to start acting with purpose, that's when I started to reach these next layers. So for me, this purpose onion, my purpose at that point in time was being in secondary school education and teaching, but then it was kind of getting out of that. So once I set that bigger vision, that bigger goal, and I started acting in alignment with the way that I could give the most, and at the time that was music. I started a business in the music industry, which was kind of sharing my skills and talents. Then I kind of moved past that next layer and I moved out of that school environment and I was working for myself. Amazing. But I had to take directed action, and that directed action was based on my skills and talents. So here's a guide for those searching for meaning. You need to get a really good understanding of your inner world. So what do I mean by that? You need to get a really good understanding of your inner world. You need to know who you are. You need to know what excites you. You need to know what drives you. You need to know what you feel inspired by. Now, the best way to do this is through meditation. Now, meditation looks different for everyone. Reading is meditation. Journaling is meditation. Meditation literally means reflection, sitting and reflecting. For me, there's a really powerful meditation called the 6-phase meditation that I've been doing for years, on and off. There's been periods where I've not been doing it as much, but it's something I've been doing for a long time. The 6-phase meditation, Google it and you'll find it. This gave me a really good understanding of who I was, what my values were, what kind of inspired me, what lit a fire inside me. And through doing that, that's how I took action in a new direction. I'll go through it quickly. So the 6-phase meditation is great. First phase is connecting to something more than yourself. Call that the universe, call that the world, call that God, whatever you want to call it. Second phase is gratitude, practicing being grateful for what you have. Third phase, and this is a really powerful phase and not many meditations teach this, is a forgiveness phase. So you're asked to think about anyone that you have any negative views on or have had any negative energy towards, negative interactions, and you go through the process mentally of forgiving them, telling them that you are sorry also for any wrong that you brought to them. And it's a really, a huge weight is lifted off you when you do this every day. You know, there's a lot of people who will wrong you and you'll have wronged a lot of people. So having time each day to forgive them and imagine them forgiving you as well is really, really powerful. And then obviously if you do need to sort of go and say sorry to someone, you probably should. It's one of the best things you can do. So that's the third phase. The next phase is having a powerful vision, thinking about your future 3 years from now. What does that look like? What do you want that to look like? The next phase of that meditation is thinking about the day in front of you. To get to that future, what actions do you need to take today to get there? What actions did that person take today to get there? And you go through your day. And then the last phase is connecting to a higher power again and feeling that support and feeling that you are guided. It's amazing. It's changed my life. So I'd really recommend that you try that out. There's a couple of audio versions. They're brilliant. So we went deep. We went deep on understanding your inner world. But it's a deep thing. You have to go deep. Go deep or go home. So I've written this down. Passions are an expression of your purpose. People often get this wrong. People often think that their passion is their purpose. Passions are an expression of your purpose, not your purpose itself. There's a distinction. Let me give you an example. So my background, like I said, is in education. I've also been in the music industry for a long time. I was doing that alongside teaching, plus before I got into that, I was in the music industry. My goal with my music was always that someone could plug it into their ears and it would give them that spark of energy that they needed to go ahead and do whatever the thing is that they need to do. Whatever that is, plug in my music, and then you've got the energy to go do that. That was always the reason I got into music. That's why I love music as well. That's what music is for me. Plug it in, I feel energized, I can go ahead and do anything right now. So for me, music was a talent and a gift that I had, and I wanted to give that energy to others. But it wasn't my purpose. Passions are an expression of your purpose. So passions are often manifestations of whatever your purpose is. So I would say that still is my core purpose, is to kind of inspire people to take the action that they know they need to take. That's why I do what I do. And that's why I love what I do as well. Because I know that people have so many gifts and talents, sometimes they don't have the framework, and sometimes they need a push to go ahead and do it. And when they go ahead and start giving out those gifts and talents to the rest of the world, it brings everyone up. Everyone benefits. And I feel it is such a waste and such a shame when people don't do this. But often people need a push, often people need a framework, and I can give that to them. My purpose is the same in those two instances. My purpose is exactly the same. It's to inspire people to take action, to take the action that they know they needed to take, or they know they need to take. One manifested in the passion of music. It's now manifesting again, but in the passion of business that I absolutely love. And this is just a layer of the onion for me. It's a layer that I'm still really, really exploring, but there will come a point where this layer falls away and there is another layer for me. But the passion will manifest in a different way. So another way when we're searching for meaning is your unique contribution aligning with your values. A lot of people aren't very principled. They don't know what they stand for. They don't know what they believe. Spend some time asking yourself, what do I stand for? When I see something on the news, what angers me? Maybe that's a sign. When I'm in conversation with someone, what really kind of gets me going and makes me feel inspired? What are my values? What do I stand for? When I hear someone say something, what do I really disagree with? Is it a way of their thinking? Is it a particular thing they've said? What are your values? A lot of people don't know. A lot of people just absorb whatever they're told from the news, from social media. They go, okay, that's what I believe now. I like that person, therefore that's what I believe. Most people are lazy. Most people don't take the time to form their own opinions. So take some time to form your own opinions. Pick a controversial topic and go deep. Listen to both sides, or all of the many sides, and form your opinion. Pick a really controversial topic. Pick gun control, abortion, and allow yourself to, rather than be like, right, I'm on this side or I'm on this side, go, right, well, there must be reasonable people on both sides. I wonder what they think. I'm going to spend some time finding out a few different people's opinions, and then I'm going to form my own opinion. Get used to doing this. If you're not principled and you don't have values to guide you, you easily get lost. Get curious. Now, as I alluded to at the beginning, to actually feel purpose in your life, you have to act purposefully. It's not something you're going to find. It's not going to fall on your lap. You have to act purposefully. You have to act purposefully. Now you can do that in every moment. You can choose to act purposefully right now. You can make that decision. So let's look at some steps on how we can act purposefully right now and create a purpose-driven future. So the first thing to do today, I've given you 3 steps, 3 things, that's all. The first thing, meditate for 10 minutes. Either go and listen to that 6-phase meditation, you'll love it. Or journal for 10 minutes. Focus on what a purpose-driven future would look like for you. Write down all of your skills, your talents, and your values. Reflect upon that. Number 2, consider who can benefit from your skills and talents the most. Who should you be serving? With our time, we have nothing to do with it but give it away. You cannot hoard time. You can't save it for later. You have nothing to do with your time apart from giving it away. So to consider who can benefit from my skills, talents, and time. Who can benefit the most? That's a really big clue for who you should be serving. And when we're serving, we're living purposefully. After you've considered this, after you've meditated, after you've considered your talents and who you should be serving, who would benefit the most from your skills and talents, take 1 hour of aligned action. Aligned action. Take 1 hour of action today of aligned action. Let's say it is playing the guitar. Let's say your purpose is swimming. Let's say it's working with people who are lonely. Let's say it's working with people who have bad business skills. Whatever it is, whoever can benefit from your skills the most, take 1 hour of aligned action. Either serving that person or creating something that is going to serve those people. So I have some books that I recommend you read. If you're a guy and you haven't read this already, where have you been? The Way of the Superior Man. Way of the Superior Man. That quote I read at the beginning was kind of inspired by reading that book. It's a great book. I would recommend getting the book. I give it to all of my friends. Some of my friends have given it back to me. They weren't ready to read it, which is interesting. And it actually says on the back of that book, it will either repel. It basically says some people won't be ready to hear the truths inside of it. And I've actually had someone give it back to me because it offended them that I gave it to them. Interesting. But if you haven't read that book, what the hell are you doing? My closest friends have all read that book. Also get the audiobook. It's beautiful. It's like 4 hours long. You can listen to that in 2 mornings. And try and listen to it over and over again if you're a guy. Now, women, I've read bits of this, but not all of it because it doesn't particularly resonate with me, but some of the women who I respect the most have read this book and they said it's really amazing for kind of tapping into sort of that feminine energy and understanding what you should do with it. And I'm not a woman, so I can't speak to this, but some of the most amazing women that I've ever met have all read this book, Women Who Run With Wolves. It's supposed to be fantastic. So, you've got a bit of homework. Back to the teaching days, you've got a bit of homework. Take these 3 steps, meditate, consider who you can serve the most, and spend 1 hour doing it. And then read these 2 books. And let's move towards acting with purpose every day. The world needs more of it. The world needs more of it. The world needs more of you acting purposefully. No one is served by you being blown around in the wind. Get a clear direction, have a clear vision, act with purpose towards it. It's what we all need, it's how we bring everyone up. That's why we do it. If you don't already, give me a follow on Instagram at @TomSpark_, and I'll see you in the next video.